Okay, here we are. This is Will and Bella for our 14th Alzheimer's Chronicles podcast. We're sitting in our library next to our lovely Christmas tree. We're probably going to have that up for another month or two.
No.
And we have just celebrated Christmas. It's December 27th, I think, today. Or is it the 26th? I think it's the 7th, 6th. I think it's the 26th. It's the day after Christmas. And we had a nice time. And we went to a Christmas Eve party. My mom and my sister came down. We had friends over. Zoe had a friend over. And so on and so forth. So we're doing well. Everything turned out great. And now we're going to talk about things. There's a new thing in the Alzheimer's front, which is Bella's been feeling some anxiety during the days.
But I don't know if it's because of the Alzheimer's or if it's because of the steroid shot still. I know it's supposed to have gone away, but I have a complicated system.
Right. So you got a steroid shot like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, maybe?
Not that long ago.
Yeah, it was a while.
Well, I'm still feeling the anxiety from having the steroid shot. My system is very sensitive.
So hopefully that explains it.
I have never had anxiety in my life. I'm not an anxious person. Unless something with my kids. I get anxious if they try and, walk on frozen ice. But I've never had this. I wouldn't even know what it felt like. If somebody said, describe it, I can't even describe it. It's so horrible. I don't know how people can live with anxiety. I'd rather live with pain.
Which you do.
I do. But it doesn't bother me as much as anxiety. Because, usually the pain is located in one area. Where anxiety, it's like takes over your whole body.
I think it's harder. I mean, the anxiety may have stemmed from the steroid shot you got for rosacea.
I never, ever, ever in my entire life have I ever had anxiety. I've never had it. I have had depression after the death of a loved one, but I've never had anxiety. I wouldn't even know what it was like until I now know, unfortunately.
I think maybe it's harder for you to deal with because of the Alzheimer's. It's like the two combined for a bad mixture.
Bad cocktail.
Exactly. So anyway, that's going on, but you're hanging in there because you're tough.
That's true, but I will say that if I didn't have the feeling of anxiety, I think things would have been easier. It would be easier for me. I mean, I've had Alzheimer's for a while, and I've never had to deal with it. I don't know. Maybe I just have a strange system, but it is something I've never experienced before, and I don't like it. I'd rather have pain. I'd rather have, my hair fall out. I don't know how people live with that.
Well, why don't you describe it?
It's impossible to describe. That's what makes it so, nasty. It's like, it's not like, oh, I feel like something bad's going to happen. I mean, that's such a cliche. I'm not feeling like something bad's going to happen. I'm just jittery. Like, I have this overwhelming fear that something's not right. And then I just get shaky. It's just horrible.
That sounds bad.
It is bad. And what I've been able to do, because unfortunately the Y is closed this week, but of course they have to do things to keep it going. But I spend a lot of time at the Y swimming, and it's been a lifesaver. It's made a huge difference to me. I love the YMCA in Glens Falls. They are so nice to me. They know I've got an illness, and they're just super, super kind. And I don't know what I would do if I didn't have the Y to go to, because I go 3 days a week. I swim for 2 hours, and it takes me to another place that's healthier.
So that was one of the things that you mentioned and wrote down before we started today was the kindness of community members helps.
Right. Well, especially the Y. I mean, they're just really decent people. They're so nice. They're very helpful. I mean, there's no place I've been to that I feel more comfortable than at the Y besides my home. The grocery store too, maybe. I'm unfortunately there a lot. But going to the Y, I feel like it's a safety zone. You know?
And they give you special treatment, right? I mean, they are like taking special care of you.
Well, I feel that's true because one day I had a bad day. I don't know what. It was like it was right after I had the shot that I think started all the anxiety. And I just couldn't get my act together. And I lost my key to my locker. I forgot my bathing suits, and I was just like, because I was rushing. And the woman, I don't know her name, but she was really nice. She's like, okay, just calm down, we'll figure it out. And she ended up finding the key, and all that sort of thing. And it was really nice. It was very generous of her to be dealing with a crazy woman. And my bathing suits were in the car. I just didn't put them in my bag. I mean, I just had a bad day. And it was, shortly after I got the steroid shot.
Yeah. Okay, so you wrote down a few questions you were thinking we could address. You wanted to know what I thought the biggest change in you is, right?
Yeah, but one thing I have to say is that I think the biggest change in me is that I'm not organized. I used to be like so organized. And I was right up until I stopped working. And I'm not sure if not working and having an agenda or a schedule is bad or good. But even though I had the disease and I was sort of suffering with it, before I told people at work, you couldn't really tell. That I had to tell them that I had Alzheimer's. It's not like, is there something going on with you? I mean, they didn't know. But I just feel like I'm not nearly as organized as I used to be. Though you wouldn't know it if you walked into my house. You would be thinking, "Oh my gosh, she's so neat and organized." And I am, but not in the way that I used to be. I mean, I used to be able to cook, talk on the phone, and clean the sink out all at one time, and I can't do that now.
Yeah. That's tough.
The whole paella thing that I screwed up.
Well, you didn't screw it up. I just ended up making it because it seemed like you just weren't in the mood. Well, and I decided to give it a try, and it turned out okay. Not as good as if you had made it, but it's not bad.
I thought it was
it's
really
edible.
Good. I thought it was really good. But that sort of like when I take a shower and I wash my hair and then I condition it, I forget if I conditioned it because I've had rinsed it out, and I'd be like, did I already do the conditioner? And that's the sort of thing that makes me mental. That is the sort of thing that I would never have done, 10 years ago.
Sure. And it's also must be discouraging. I feel like...
One thing I don't do is I never forget to put my deodorant on.
Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like that's really discouraging, that would be so difficult to deal with because it's like you never know, what you've done, what you haven't done. Right. So it's very hard to do any kind of project or to make any kind of progress on a project because
you have to
get partway through.
Over again.
Yeah, you either have to keep redoing it or you get partway through and it's like it falls apart because you don't know where you are.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. I'm trying to work out a schedule for that, though. I mean, like, I don't try and make it to the very best it's going to be. Remember how meticulous I used to be? It's
yes.
like, I know, you hated that. But now it's like I'm willing to let a little dust stay here or there. And, If there's a dish in the sink, I'm not going to have a mental. I mean, the honey on the counters really bothers me still, but I'm really getting more laid back about stuff like that because
Right. No, I've noticed that.
I used to be like, it would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
The bed would have to be made at the same time every day. I just don't have the inclination to be that way anymore.
Right.
And I know you appreciate that.
Right. Correct.
Because you're not very neat. You're not very neat, and you do make honey messes all over the place with your jelly and honey.
When it's necessary, when it's absolutely necessary, and it must be done. That's that's hard. That's why I was wondering maybe if you did something that doesn't require steps, you know what I mean, or you could see the result of your steps every step of the way, like painting a painting or something.
Well, you know what, I've gotten obsessed with the laundry.
Okay.
So I've been doing, the laundry is like my little partner in crime. I've constantly doing laundry.
Because you always know where, what's been done and what hasn't been done.
Well, sort of. Zoe was very considerate to me recently, and she put on her laundry basket, these clothes are clean. Because what I guess had been happening, but I didn't know, is that I didn't know which clothes were clean and which were dirty, so I was rewashing everything. Mm-hmm. So, but now she put that sign on it saying this is clean. That was very helpful. But I have been a little obsessed with the laundry. And I think a big part of that is because the laundry is right off the family room where my bunny is. And I like to spend time with him. So it's like I can do the laundry and hang out with the bunny at the same time.
Mm-hmm. That works.
Yeah. So I divide my time up between the two animals. When I'm home, I'm doing the laundry and spending time with Beans. And when I'm not home, I'm driving Pepper around through the mountains. And then I bring her home and I warm my feet up or whatever. And then I take her out for a long walk.
Yeah. And that's all good because that's something that is not a project done. Those projects are not done in steps. Those are just done, right? So, wherever you are, you're there. You can keep going farther or go home. It doesn't matter. Right.
Well, one thing, like today I was at the grocery store because I had a prescription I had to pick up. And, I have this anxiety and I was trying to find some natural thing to take to try and, mellow it a bit. I don't even want to say this because I have a feeling if I say it, you'll be like, aha, that's what's going on. But I do so enjoy drinking a lot of coffee every single day.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Oh, that doesn't make you get all like messed up and...
Well, if it did, I'd be very messed up, and so would a lot of people. I don't know. I seriously doubt that's causing...
Oh, good. Because I wasn't going to tell you because I didn't want you to say, no, you can't drink coffee anymore. But
Well, what do you mean? You're drinking like more coffee than just out of our coffee pot? You're like sneaking off to Starbucks for like surreptitious triple...
No, I did think about that today,
espressos.
Though. When I was driving Pepper, I was like, Starbucks. But no, I didn't. I did stop and get gas. But I was afraid that if I told you... I mean, I drink a couple of... I drink like 4 or 5 cups a day.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, good. So it's not the coffee.
I don't think so.
I hope not, because I really like coffee.
So do I.
I don't know what's causing the anxiety. I've never, ever in my life had it before, and I do not want to keep it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to question 2. Do you get worried if you can't find me? This is directed to me.
Yeah. Do you ever get worried if I'm missing?
Yeah, I do.
I notice.
Luckily I can usually get you on the phone.
Yeah, so. That was funny when you called me as I was walking the dog, and I guess I was taking an extra long walk, and you called and you're like, "Are you all right? Did you fall down or something?" I'm like, "No, I'm just walking the dog for a longer time." Didn't you call me on the?
Yes.
Because you were worried that because I fall down a lot, and one time I fell down and knocked myself out.
Right.
That was pretty bad.
That was.
Probably caused Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I get worried. Absolutely. If that, I mean, that doesn't happen very much.
No.
That I don't know where you are. You're either at home or I know where you are.
I'm with the dog.
Or you're out for a walk or you're at the store or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would be very worried if you were gone for, more than half an hour or so, and I didn't know where you were, and I couldn't reach you on the phone.
Right.
So.
Well, usually if I'm not here, the dog's with me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were worried about me, you should also be worried about Pepper, because she has to be in the car with me.
Right. No, well, I always notice if I'm at home, if you're gone, if Pepper's here or not.
Yeah.
So that's a big clue.
Yeah, she goes with me everywhere.
All right, let's move to question 3, shall we?
Yes.
Are my reactions stronger than they used to be? Meaning, you're asking me that. So,
yeah.
Meaning, are your reactions stronger? Yes.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, you tend to fixate on things
Oh.
in a way that you didn't used to do.
I don't let things go.
It's almost, I don't know if it's not letting things go. It's not necessarily in a negative way. I mean, you just tend to get kind of fixated on things.
Like what?
You know the word perseverate? It means like to repeat things or to kind of get stuck on something and unable to move off it. It's kind of almost like a mental condition. I feel like that is kind of happening, partly maybe because you forget. You forget you've already worried about something, so then you worry about it again. You know what I mean? And then 5 minutes later, you worry about it again.
Give me an example of a worry.
Well, you kind of, and you also don't necessarily see the context of something, or you forget about the context. So, for example, when I was going to drive, and I mentioned this in my column, when I was going to drive Tam down to JFK last week.
Which you did.
Right. You were worried about me being on the road for
like
10 hours. And I said, well, I'll pick up a hitchhiker to keep me company as a joke. Now, number one, I wouldn't do that. Number two, there's no hitchhikers on the road anymore.
I know.
It was a joke. So you were like, no, you won't. And I'm like, I'm joking. But then that was right before I was about to go. But in the next 5 or 10 minutes, you sort of out of the blue, at least twice, said to me, don't pick up any hitchhikers on the way to JFK. It was like you sort of got stuck on that idea.
It's kind of frightening when you think about it. The types of things you read about in the newspaper or listen to on the radio, it is not safe to be picking up hitchhikers. And, I'm a safety freak, as you well know, and I would have been really upset. But I worry, even before I had Alzheimer's and you had to go on a long trip, you know how I would freak out about that. If you went down to see your sister, I'd be like, you gotta drive, I should go with you,
Yes, but not as much. That's gotten a lot more. You're a lot more worried about me.
That's the anxiety. We got to get rid of it.
I don't think it's only that. I think it's also an effect of the Alzheimer's.
No, it's not. It's not, because I had Alzheimer's before. I had Alzheimer's, 2 years ago, and I never had any of that. But then I got the steroid shot, and now I have anxiety.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm hoping it'll just eventually, I'll go back to what is the new normal.
Okay. Well, I can tell you some other ways your reactions are stronger. You're definitely a lot more sensitive and... Are
you saying I wasn't a sensitive person?
You were, but...
There's always a but.
You sort of countered that. you had a counter to it, a counter in which you sort of refused to be, or you would be kind of tough about it, stubborn or whatever.
Oh yeah, stubborn.
But you're not that way anymore. But you're also like very
needy.
Yeah, you're a lot more vulnerable. That's the word. You're a lot more vulnerable than you used to be. I feel like 10 years ago, if one of our pets died, which of course happened, it would have been hard for you, but I knew that you could take it, that you would get over it. Now I feel like, geez, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she could take that, I mean, I'm sorry to even bring it up, but that's
thanks, honey.
That's an example. You know what I mean? I feel like you're a lot more vulnerable to, emotional things.
I'm not an emotional person, though. Right? Before Alzheimer's.
Well, you weren't? Yes, you were.
Oh, I was?
Yeah. But like I said, it was more complicated then. Now it's just like more purely
ridiculous.
Vulnerable.
I don't want to be vulnerable.
Well, I mean, there's a good part to that. It's honest.
But I used to be real hard ass.
You could be.
I could
you miss
be
those
again.
days? I don't think so. I don't think you could be. I don't think you have it in you now.
Oh, that's too bad. I was a good bitch.
Okay.
Mastered that craft.
So as we come up on the new year, I was going to bring up some things. I thought it'd be good we could talk about like things we want to do in the new year.
Okay.
And I was going to say one thing.
We went
to a nice Christmas party on Christmas Eve at our friend's house. I really enjoyed that. And I think we should do more socializing like that, or have people over here.
I wanted to have a Halloween party, remember? We had Halloween parties every year. In fact, a friend of ours called us a couple years ago wondering if we were going to have a Halloween party again.
I know.
You said no.
I know, and I think I should relent on that. If you want to have a big party, I was thinking maybe we could have like a spring solstice party or something like that.
That might work, but I don't want to have it outside.
No, inside.
Yeah. Okay, well, we can have another party.
Yeah.
We can have a potluck. It wouldn't even cost a lot of money, because if we had a potluck, everybody brings something to share.
Yeah.
And whenever we had a party, the place was packed.
Yeah.
It was jam-packed. In fact, friends of ours has called us before a party that we had in the past to see if we were having it, because our parties were so well known.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's a potluck, it's not even going to be, it won't even be that expensive. Everybody brings a dish to share.
Right. Yeah. I think it would be good.
Wow.
We should do that. I'll relent on the big party, but we should have small gatherings too. Like we should see people more.
You're referring to socializing?
Yeah.
I don't know, honey. I'm so mental. I feel uncomfortable around people that can judge me. Will judge me.
Everyone can. I mean, everyone does. I mean, that's just the way it is. So is that why you're reluctant? You don't want to get together with people because you feel...
Because I repeat myself. I forget what I just said, and I say it again. I get up to go get something, I'll come back with the wrong thing. I mean, I could wear a flashing pin or something that says, I have Alzheimer's, so don't judge me. I mean, I don't know.
So, and the big party would be easier because no one pays attention to what you're saying in a big party anyway.
Exactly. And also people bring food with them, and it's not, and then when they leave, they take it with them. So I just think it's easier. It doesn't even have to be a big party. I mean, we had some really big parties in the past. But most of we and our friends are at this older age. We wouldn't want a big blowout like we used to have. But it'd be nice every now and then to get together with people and invite, even if you have like only 10 people come or 15, have a theme get together.
Mm.
And
Okay.
that would be nice. Even something as simple as that. But when I brought it up to you, you said no, you can't do that. You're too mental.
I did not say that. That was not
I know.
what I said or what I was thinking. No.
That's so funny. You're so funny.
I'm just lazy. I don't want to do all the work for a large party.
Well,
But if we can keep it smaller,
honey,
then
there wasn't a whole lot of work. For one thing, I did most of it, so I don't know what you're complaining about. For another thing is that if it's a potluck, remember I used to make like 10 lasagnas?
Yes.
That was for Halloween because it was like
Yes.
bloody guts.
Yes.
But if you have a potluck, it's not the same as like having a big party and inviting people. Everybody brings stuff anyway, but if you have a party, you can even limit it. Like, okay, we're only going to have, 20 people over or something like that. I mean, we used to have like 60 people in this house on a Halloween or something like that.
Yes. Okay.
Are we done?
Yes. Wow. I've never heard you say that. Is this hard for you?
Yeah, it is. I'm like airing out my dirty laundry. I like to be secretive. I don't like people to know stuff.
But you've been really open about this process.
I was kidding. I'm not good about
Oh, you had me fooled. Okay. All right.
No, we've already been doing this. If I was like a secretive person, I would be
I know.
in trouble right now.
I know. It's like, whoops. All right.
So, we did have a nice Christmas, though.
We did.
And we had people we really liked here.
Yeah.
And when Zoe and Kim got their Amelia Earhart glasses, it was so hysterical.
Yeah, that was a good present.
That was a good present.
Yeah.
We have to get them the leather hats too.
Okay.
I think that'd be fun.
All right. That's it.
Wait, what time is it? Am I missing Jeopardy?
No, not yet.
Better not.